Loring friends. I'm going to read today for you my favorite childhood book. It's called Katie No Pocket. And the artist is the same one that did a lot of the Curious George drawings, if you kind of recognize a little bit of it. I actually got this book at our book swap this year at Loring School. I was so excited to see it. I haven't seen it in many, many years. So the name of it is Katie No Pocket. This is Katie, her little son, and she has no pocket. So we're going to find out how she fixes that problem. Big tears rolled down Katie Kangaroo's brown face. Poor Katie was crying because she didn't have a pocket like other mother kangaroos. Freddie was Katie Kangaroo's little boy. He needed a pocket to ride in. All grown-up kangaroos take awfully big hops, and little kangaroos like Freddie get left far behind, unless their mother has a nice pocket to carry them in. And poor Katie didn't have any pocket at all. And there's Katie and her son, and there's her friends carrying their little babies in their pockets. Katie Kangaroo cried, just thinking about it, and Freddie cried too. Then all of a sudden, Katie had a wonderful idea. It was so wonderful she jumped 6 feet up in the air. The idea was this. Other animal mothers had children and they didn't have any pockets. She'd go ask one of them how they carried their babies. It's kind of like in school when we tell you if you don't know, check with a friend. I think she's going to try that strategy. Freddie looked all around to see whom to ask, and Katie looked all around too. And what they both saw were 2 bubbles rising from the river right beside them. Mrs. Crocodile, said Katie, feeling lots better already. She hasn't any pocket. Let's ask her. A lot of big, muddy bubbles came up through the water. There's Crocodile and her baby. Then Mrs. Crocodile stuck her head up, and she opened her enormous mouth and smiled. Why, Katie Kangaroo, what can I do for you today? Please, Mrs. Crocodile, I'm so sad, said Katie. I have no pocket, and Freddie has to walk everywhere we go, and he gets so tired. Oh, dear, she started to cry again. The crocodile began to cry, too. She felt so bad for her. And then she said, But what can I do? You can tell me how to carry Freddie, said Katie. How do you carry little Catherine Crocodile? Oh, please tell me. Why, I carry her on my back, of course, said Mrs. Crocodile. She was so surprised that anyone shouldn't know that she forgot to cry anymore. So there she is. She's got her baby on her back, and that's how she carries little Catherine Crocodile. Katie was pleased. She said thank you, and as soon as she got to a good squatting down place, she squatted down and said, Now, Freddie, climb on my back. After this, it'll be so simple, no trouble at all. But it wasn't simple. In the first place, Freddie could not crawl up on her back because his knees stuck out. He couldn't hang on because his front legs were too short. And when he did manage to hang on for a few minutes, Katie gave a big, long hop, and off he fell, bump, bang, and with a terrific thump. So Katie saw she could not carry her baby on her back. So there he is, trying to get on her back. He's on there, but boom, as soon as she takes a big jump, off he goes. That didn't work. Katie and Freddie sat down again and thought and thought. I know I'll ask Mrs. Monkey. I'm sure she can help me. So Katie and Freddie set off for the forest, and very soon they found Mrs. Monkey. She had her young son Jocko with her, and Katie Kangaroo hurried so to catch up with them that she was almost out of breath. But finally she managed to speak. Please, Mrs. Monkey, how do you carry Jocko? Why, in my arms, of course, said Mrs. Monkey. How else would any sensible animal carry anything? And she whisked away through the trees. Oh, dear, said Katie with a great big tear running across her nose. I can't carry anything in these short little arms. Oh, dear, she wasn't any help at all. What are we going to do? And she just sat down and cried harder and harder. Remember, see the kangaroos? See how short their arms are? so she can't carry her baby in her arms. Here's the monkey with her baby. See how she's carrying her baby in her arms. She's got big, long arms, able to carry him. Poor Freddie. He hated to see his mother cry. So he put his paw to his head and he thought and thought. What about the lion, he asked when Katie stopped crying a little. They don't carry their children. The poor things walk just the way you do, said Katie. And there go the lions with their babies walking right behind them. But the difference is they walk slower than Katie hops. How about the way the birds do it? There's the birds, said Freddie. How do they carry their babies? Birds, said Katie. The mother birds push their babies out of the nest. They squawk and shriek and flap their wings about it, and then they learn how to fly. So the mom pushes them out, and they use their wings, and they learn how to fly. She doesn't have to carry them around. Then all at once, Katie Kangaroo stopped crying, and she looked at Freddie. They do say that the owl knows almost everything, she said slowly. Well then, for goodness sakes, let's ask him, said Freddie. And they found the old owl asleep in an old dead tree. There's the owl, sound asleep. This is daylight, and we know that owls usually sleep in the day. They come out at night. He was cross and angry because he didn't want to be woken up in the middle of the day. But when he saw Katie was so sad, he came out, blinking and ruffling his feathers, and he said in a scratchy voice, Well, well, what is it? Speak up. I'm deaf as a post. So Katie stood under the tree and screamed at him, I'm a mother kangaroo, and I haven't a pocket to carry my child in. How shall I carry him? What shall I do? Well, get a pocket, said the owl, and he went back to sleep again. Where? Cried Katie. Oh, please don't go to sleep before you tell me where. How should I know? Said the owl. They sell that sort of thing in the city, I believe. Now kindly go away and let me sleep. Ah, the city, said Katie. She looked at Freddie with her big round eyes. Of course, we'll go to the city. Katie was so excited that she almost left Freddie behind as she went leaping over bushes and hopping along the path, singing in sort of a hummy way a little song she had just made up. Hippity hoppity flippity floppity, wasn't it a pity? I didn't know it was to go to the city. So she hopped so fast that Freddie could hardly keep up, but at last they left the woods behind and they came to the city. And there she goes. Must be strange to see a kangaroo in the city, There were stores and houses and automobiles. The people stared and stared at Katie, but she didn't notice it. She was looking for pockets, and she saw that almost everyone had them. And then, all at once, she could hardly believe it, a man who seemed to be all pockets. He was simply covered with pockets, big pockets, little pockets, medium-sized pockets. Here he comes. It's got a big apron on with lots of pockets in it. Katie went up to him, and she laid a paw on his arm. He was a little frightened, but Katie looked at him with her soft brown eyes and said, Please, dear kind man, where did you get all those pockets? These pockets, he said. You want to know where I got these pockets? Why, they just came with the apron, of course. You mean you really can get something to put on with all pockets already in it? Asked Katie. Sure you can, said the man. I keep my hammer and nails and my tools in my pockets, but I can get another apron, so I'll give you mine. And he took off his apron. So he's got his tools in his pockets, and here he is. This is called an apron, and a lot of carpenters or workers will have those, and they have pockets for everything, so they can have them right on them. They can carry them, and it makes it really convenient. It's pretty nice of him to give it to her. He dumped it upside down. Out fell a saw, wrench, nails, a hammer, a drill, and lots of other tools. Then the man shook the apron hard and turned it right side up again and hung it around Katie's neck and tied it behind her back. Katie was so pleased and excited and happy she couldn't speak. She just stood still and looked down at the pockets and smiled and smiled and smiled. There he is, emptying his apron out, taking all his tools off. And here he is putting it on Katie. Oh! By this time, a big crowd had gathered to see what Katie Kangaroo was doing. When they saw how pleased she was, they all smiled too. So nice. At last, Katie was able to say thank you to the nice man. And then, what do you think she did? She popped Freddie into a very comfortable pocket, and she hippity-hopped home faster than ever before, because of course she didn't have to wait for Freddie. And there's Freddie, looking pretty comfortable in that pocket. And when she got home, what do you think she did? Pocket. Well, she had so many pockets that she put Freddie into the biggest one of all, and then into the next largest she put little Leonard Lion, and Thomas Tortoise just fit into another pocket. Sometimes she would have a baby bird if its mother was busy or at a worm hunt, and there was still room for a monkey and a skunk and a rabbit, a raccoon, a lizard, a squirrel, a possum, a turtle, a frog, and a snail. There she is. And they're all coming to go for a ride in her pockets. Kind of cool. So now, all the animals liked Katie's pockets better than any other pockets in the whole forest. And Katie Kangaroo is very happy now because she has more pockets than any mother kangaroo in the world. And look, she's got everybody's babies, so she's helping everybody out, which is pretty nice. And her little son's finally got someplace to ride so she can hop along and not worry about him. I hope you enjoyed it. I always thought it was such a nice story about how she solved her problem with no pocket. But then once she solved her problem, she tried to help other people too. So stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.